Now's not the time for you to be out here getting in trouble. Now is actually the time for you to get your life in order. See, this new president that we have, Donald Trump, he's not playing around in any way at all. The White House just recently confirmed that Donald Trump is exploring ways to deport U.S. citizens. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be some kind of law expert, even though you've never spent a day in law school, and you're going to sit there and say, that's impossible, that can't happen. Let me make this very clear to you that a lot of things that we thought could not happen have already happened, okay? So keep on telling yourself it can't happen. The best thing you can do, take my advice, is stay far away from trouble, stay far away from people who cause trouble, stay far away from any situation that might get you in a situation to where you're being shackled, handcuffed, and removed from this country. So the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said on Tuesday that President Donald Trump is exploring legal pathways to deport U.S. citizens to El Salvador. These are not my words at SouFLoTV. These are her words coming from the White House, where the administration has already arranged to house deported immigrants in a prison in El Salvador that is known for its human rights abuses. Leavitt suggested that the effort would be limited to people who have committed major crimes. Could be. The effort to deport American citizens could be limited to people who have committed major crimes. But Trump has also mentioned the possibility of sending people who committed lesser offenses abroad as well. He said it is just too expensive to house prisoners in the United States of America anymore, and these companies have gotten out of control with the prices they're charging ever since prisons have been privatized. So we'll outsource the criminals, the prisoners. I want to tell y'all something, right? Go and look this up if you don't believe me. In the Constitution of the United States of America, you are protected under the Constitution, but it says unless you go to prison. Once you go to prison, you become, and yes, you have rights as a prisoner, but you also become the state's property, which means the state rights trumps your rights. Trumps, no pun intended, but the state rights trumps your rights. So the states can now do whatever they want to do with you for the number of years that judge has sentenced you to be in that state's penitentiary. Understood? Okay. So any such move on the part of the Trump administration is absolutely certain to be challenged in court. It is also not clear what legal authority could be used to justify expelling U.S. citizens from their homeland. One of the things I thought that would have been repealed, overturned, was 16,000 federal workers that were fired recently, laid off of their jobs or fired. They were fired. A judge ruled that Donald Trump and his administration must immediately hire those people back with back pay. Well, that lasted for just a little while because Trump's attorneys were in court and they fought that. And guess what happened? Yesterday, while I was looking at the news broke that the Trump administration is free to go ahead with the firing of the 16,000 federal workers. This is after a judge ruled against him firing them and ordered that they be reinstated in their job positions. So like I said before, a lot of things we're thinking is not going to happen is absolutely happening. And it seems like a lot of these judges are powerless. I said this before also at the beginning of Donald Trump starting his term, that everything has been already put in place. So everywhere he has to go for authority in order to move forward to the next step, there are people there who support what he is doing already. So if that's who he has to go to get the go-ahead, to get the sign-off on it, consider it done. These would be heinous, violent criminals who have broken our nation's laws repeatedly. There are violent repeat offenders on American streets, is what Leavitt told reporters at a press briefing. She said, the president has said, if it's legal, right? If there's a legal pathway to do that, he's not sure, and we're not sure if there is either. It's an idea that he has simply floated and has discussed very publicly in an effort of transparency. Let me break that line down for you. Very publicly in an effort of transparency, meaning it's not something that they're hiding behind the scenes. It's not something that you can say, oh, they're planning something mystical we know nothing about. They're telling you to your face that they are working on being able to deport U.S. citizens. Donald Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One on Sunday that he loves the idea of removing U.S. citizens, adding that it would be an honor to send them to El Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele, an eager partner in Trump's schemes. Well, Bukele is getting a whole lot of money, and he already said he can use that money to pay the bills at that mega infrastructure that they built and fund other things for his country, right? Trump also proposed the idea back in March, when Tesla vehicles were being vandalized and set ablaze to protest of CEO Elon Musk's heavy-handed involvement in the Trump administration. Musk had been running the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, taking credit for huge cuts to the federal workforce and federal services. That's crazy, because a lot of these people who voted for Donald Trump were like, America first, America this. And then you have a South African who comes over to America, and because he is super wealthy, he is given first dibs on dismantling the U.S. federal government, immediately firing thousands of people, making many American-born people, even veterans who have fought for this country, making them jobless. But that's another story for those who voted for that, right? Back to this. He said, quote unquote, I look forward to watching the sick terrorist thugs get 20 years jail sentence for what they are doing to Elon Musk and Tesla, quote unquote. That is what Trump wrote. Perhaps they could serve them in the prisons in El Salvador, which have become so recently famous for such lovely conditions. The administration has argued that housing people in El Salvador saves taxpayers money in the United States of America. Several plane loads of immigrants have been flown there last month. They remain incarcerated as a lawsuit challenging their deportation proceeds through the federal court system. Those immigrants, mostly men from Venezuela, they were accused of being gang members, and they were deported without the chance to even defend themselves in court. Court documents and reports that have emerged since they got removed suggest that many believe that they will be targeted by the very same gangs that Trump has accused them of being affiliated with. Many of them, they are unable to find any criminal records of these guys in their own country or even in the United States of America, never had a run-in with the law. Some of them, they were just, yeah, you have tattoos that look like gang tattoos. When you shave the heads, they all look alike, etc., out of there. Donald Trump used the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to send these immigrants to El Salvador, officially categorizing the gang Tren de Aragua as a hostile power, and the immigrants of being members of that hostile power. It's not clear whether he would attempt to use the same law or a different power to remove citizens from the United States of America. So again, critics are saying that the administration's policy is a clear violation of due process protections enshrined in the Constitution. But what we have come to realize is Donald Trump don't give a damn about any of that. He cares about what he says he's going to do, and he's going to find a way to get it done, right? Okay, so take this short video as a warning and don't be on the wrong side of the law. Things have changed. Some of the things you think aren't enough to get you deported as a citizen, to have your citizenship revoked. If you're a naturalized citizen, you better think again. Save your opinions, to keep them off social media. Be by yourself as much as you can. Stay away from protesting. Stay away from letting your thoughts be known publicly about certain things. Read between the lines. Pay attention to what is going on right now. I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.